this college football playoff poll comes out tonight, do you care?
Not really. I don't. I didn't know that, but no, not really.
That's what I was wondering.
Wake Forest, Georgia Tech, Georgia State, South Carolina, kind of. It's where the focus is.
I
So.
just asked Corey this question. Wake Forest, yeah, not very good offensively, but with them having extra time to prepare, do you expect a lot of new wrinkles, trick plays, anything to try and move the football?
Well, I'm sure everybody will have some new things. They'll have new things, and sometimes what you see isn't what you get. So I'm sure they're working on themselves and trying to improve fundamentally and finding out what they're doing well and not doing so well. So, like all of us, I know they played Boston College really tough last week. Had a chance to win that game, and played Louisville. I think a team that we all respect. They played them 20-10 a month ago or whatever that was. So, they're more than capable. I know they've got a real strong defense. I think Jimbo Fisher says it's the best defense in the ACC. So it'll be a tough game, but that'll get here next week. Trying to improve ourselves fundamentally and heal up and all those kind of things.
With this defense playing so well, what do you work on during the bye?
There's plenty. Trust me, there's plenty to work on. It's like anything. You got to keep going to work every day. We've played consistently the last month or so because we have been going to work every day. When it's time to practice, you go, you focus on doing the little things the correct way, improve, get better, compete. Continue to polish. Certain aspects from a scheme standpoint. And, it's like anything. You take time off when you're not supposed to. You're not going to make the kind of improvement that you do. You'll regress. So there's plenty of things to continue to, like I say, just stay sharp in and improve. And looking ahead at sometimes you don't get exposed for whatever reason, but there are issues that are on tape that your opponent's going to see, and so we're trying to focus on those types of things as well as match up what we do with what our opponents do.
Do you sense that your guys take the sense of every single possession matters more when the offense isn't scoring the way it used to score, or is it the same mentality as it used to be? It seems different.
I don't know. I can't really necessarily, speak for our guys, but you're in a tight game, and every play does matter. And until you get complete and total control of the game, whether that's through 3 series or that's through 3 quarters, those plays do matter and they add up. And so that's always our focus and always our message with our guys. And so again, it goes back to the same old cliche of, playing as well as we're capable of playing and worrying about ourselves and doing everything we can in order to have an opportunity to win and play well. So.
A lot of last week, and there were a lot of fans on social networking that were very proud of the fact that this feels to them like maybe some of the teams in the 80s that sort of hung their hat on defense. As the defensive coordinator of this team and sort of being involved in this process and this team getting better and better and better. Is there a sense of pride in that the fans are proud of what this defensive unit is doing?
Well, I'm obviously all of us coaches are proud of how far we've come, the improvement. Certainly, again the last month or so, again getting into a rhythm. It's funny. I know people say, well, the people you haven't played aren't very good. You look around college football. Everybody's got maybe 2-3 good teams, maybe, and then everybody else is playing the same kind of people. So you still look at yourself more than anything and how well you're playing. Are you executing? Are you got good discipline? Are you playing with good fundamentals? Are your players playing with great effort? Are they tackling well in space? Are they attacking the football when it's in the air? Are they putting their eyes where they belong? And when you're doing those things, usually you have a good end result and a good product. And And that's what, I know us coaches watching our guys play. We've got, again, good chemistry. We're in a good rhythm right now. We've got great leadership. It looks as though our guys are enjoying themselves and having fun at the same time, playing with great intensity and great focus, and displaying great toughness along the way. And, our fans should be proud of our players, all of our players. We've, as a football team, we've had to really scrap the last month. Our offense is continually trying to overcome enormous obstacles and things that certainly you don't plan for, and whether that's even early season in the fall camp, losing some old linemen that was unexpected as well. Besides the injuries that have taken place, that's a depleted unit over there, and yet they still have had a huge part late in these last few games at helping us seal these wins. So love the collective effort, and Ammon Lacob and Bradley Pinion, they've both been outstanding here during this last month or so as well, in the 5 games that we've won in a row. So everybody's doing their part under the circumstances, and those games, as sometimes you feel like you're in control, but you also recognize you're one play, one guy out of a gap, one busted coverage away from losing control, so to speak, of the game. So it's a rather uncomfortable feeling during the course of the game. Again, I'd much rather have a 31 or so point lead than you're worried about getting all the guys in and then playing kind of sloppy, and that's uncomfortable too. But really proud how our guys are working, and the investment, and some of these guys have been doing it for a few years now, and they're growing up and they're maturing. And usually, whether you're really highly talented or if you're just really experienced, a lot of times the result is close to the same. You're consistent, you're productive, you're hard to beat when you're not beating yourself, and that comes from veteran group. And I know we've got a bunch of older guys. They get it, they understand how to compete and understand the process and how you get from A to B to C along the way. But
Is there momentum involved in, I guess, being a great defense, having that evolve? It seems like over the last couple of weeks, great performance in one game, and then the next game a little bit better. The next game,
I think the success lends credibility to stay hungry, to keep fighting for more, to not to be satisfied. It lends credibility, and you're in the film room or you're at practice, and I think now we're at a point in the season where we've had enough success where it's easy to get guys to buy in and not put their guard down. Now's when you got to put the pedal down. You're in late November. We have a chance to have a great finish, and guys have got to be more focused, hungrier than ever now. And hopefully we'll have that, coming out of the bye week with some rest and an opportunity to get refocused and recharged here for this stretch run. Again, we got that pedal down, but I think the confidence has continued to build, and they really believe in each other and with what we're doing.
Why has it been such a struggle for Wake offensively?
I don't know. I mean, they've had some personnel issues. They got a new system, and anybody that's been a part of putting in an offense and a defense and so forth, a coaching change, sometimes that's not easy. But I can't really say. I know they graduated a number of players as well, so playing youth and then having some injuries and the inexperience. I remember quite well what having youth and inexperience is like 3 years ago or 2.5 years ago, and it's not a lot of fun sometimes. For 1 or 2 plays that are really good, you'll have 5 or 6 that aren't so good. And it's so when you're playing again, and guys that haven't played a lot, they play a little bit slower. They'll make more mistakes. It's the old paralysis by analysis. I don't know, but can't really say.
So you're talking to other players about Mackenzie Alexander. It's like the first thing they always say is that's a different cat.
Mm-hmm.
We hear about the extra film study. He won't do interviews with us until he does something.
Good. Good. He's in there watching film.
What is different about him, and how has he done in your eyes?
Again, I just think he's mature. He lets you coach him hard, but he's coaching himself harder. He holds himself to a very, very high standard. He's got the discipline and the maturity to just kind of focus on his job, his fundamentals, his technique. He goes incredibly hard at practice, so he's always sharpening his skill set and his fundamentals, technique, and he's just a very competitive young guy that likes to win and then takes it to another level. And so you'll often see him in a shove and push and match pretty regularly, like a nose guard going against a center and a guard would, that's getting shoved around in the trenches and doesn't like it a whole lot. Well, he's out there on the perimeter playing with that same type of edge and mentality. And he was that way in high school, very, very competitive, played bigger than his stature, and whether it was covering somebody or coming up to tackle in the flat, So Mackenzie's a little bit different, but what I love about him is staying hungry and recognizing that, there's always opportunity to get better every day. And again, that humility along with maturity and desire to be great, not good. He wants to be great, and he wants to be the best. And it takes a special young guy, and usually those are veteran, still special kind of guys that they're just always hungry for more. You can't give them enough knowledge. You can't feed them enough criticism. They're harder on themselves than any coach could possibly be. So that's not to say he's perfect. Again, he's occasionally get his lip stuck out, and occasionally have a day where he's got his guard down. And but real pleased, obviously, with how he's playing, and I think he's helped. A guy like Gary. Gary had a terrific game last week as well, and I think he's been really good for that. For the other corners too. They're as trying to emulate some of that focus, maturity, and pride in your position.
Is there anything you see consistently when you watch this defense on film that you're like, hey, we need to do this better all the time, or is it just like nitpicky stuff here and there?
Oh man, there's a lot of things, but are we doing one thing real poorly? Is that what the question is? I wouldn't say that there is, but again, we missed a few fits the other day. They're simple. Set the front the wrong way a time or two. On 3rd and 10, cloud corners, not jamming number one like he needs to. There are a lot of things that us coaches are still improving, and that'll be every week. It's hard to play that perfect game, and again, sometimes the end result looks like everything was great, but there's all kinds of little things. We had the 3rd and 1 on the sideline over here on their field goal, on their first field goal after the turnover. We have a chance to get off the field, and it's going to be a tackle for loss, but a guy that's supposed to stay outside, the tight end, pokes his head inside. Well, we got a guy getting ready to hit him for a tackle for loss. He pokes his head in, knocks him off, and the ball squirts outside of us over here on the sideline, and they convert it, and then we end up holding them a few plays later after they gained another 9 yards, and they kick a field goal. Great disciplined players, we can't do that. Just do your job. Don't try to do too much. You don't have to be Superman. You're supposed to hold the edge, and trust your teammates will be in there. And if you choose to do something like that, you better make the play 100% of the time. So that's the kind of things that you don't want to beat yourself. So just giving you one example, and there's tons of those. The game within the game, sometimes we're able to overcome some of those mistakes. But again, the better competition you play, the less margin for error there is, and so that's the message to the guys.
What about fall break next week?
Mm-hmm.
You got a short week already. Then there's a couple days. There's no students, and camp's a little empty. how do you? I mean, do you feel like it's easier for the guys to focus with something like that, or is
Well,
it
it's
maybe
easier
more
for us to tell them to get over here. I know that. But I don't really know. I don't. I really don't put. I don't really kind of build in those excuses to worry about all that. You know, here's the process. You got meetings, you got practice, you got film study. Here's your tips and reminders. Get it down. I don't know. Just kind of thinking out loud here. I would think that it would be easier. They have less distractions. That kind of free their mind a little bit and get maybe a little bit more rest than they normally would. So, you know, it ought to be better for us. Is Wake on fall break too? Oh, I don't know either.